You have spent years being a good person, thoughtful, accommodating, the kind of woman who smooths things over, who laughs off the comment that stings, who says yes when she means no because saying no feels like too much trouble. And you have watched quietly, with a kind of exhausted confusion, as other women who seem no more impressive than you, no louder, no more accomplished, are simply treated differently. People listen when they speak. Plans don't get canceled on them. Their time is protected like something precious. And somewhere in the gap between who you are and how you are being treated, you have started to wonder whether there is something wrong with you. There isn't. But there is something you are doing. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. What few people understand is that respect is not a reward for being impressive enough. It is a response to the signals you are sending, signals so quiet, so habitual, so woven into how you move through the world that you don't even know you're transmitting them. Your brain has been running an old program, one designed to keep you safe by keeping you small, by avoiding conflict, by making yourself easy to be around. And that program, however well-intentioned, is quietly teaching the people around you exactly how to treat you. This is not your fault, but it is yours to change. Here's the mechanism at work. Your brain, wired for survival and belonging, learned early that conflict is dangerous and disapproval is a threat. So it developed strategies that felt like kindness, like patience, like being the bigger person, laughing along when someone makes you the joke, answering the message the moment it arrives, absorbing the canceled plan with an "it's fine, don't worry about it," launching into a 5-minute explanation of why your idea is good when someone questions it. Each of these behaviors feels, in the moment, like the gracious thing to do, and each of them, without your realizing it, is a signal. A signal that says, my comfort is negotiable, my time is available, my worth is something I am still working to prove. And people respond to signals, not because they are cruel, but because we are all constantly reading the room. When you act as though your boundaries are suggestions, people treat them as suggestions. When you act as though your time is infinitely available, people treat it as infinitely available. When you react as though disrespect has power over you, going quiet and wounded, or going loud and defensive, you confirm that it does. The behavior is the message, and the message has been, you can treat me like this. And here is the reframe that changes everything. The version of you that kept the peace, that laughed along, that over-explained and over-accommodated. She was not weak. She was trying to survive a dynamic she didn't yet have the tools to navigate. But the behaviors she built are now the cage. What you thought was kindness was self-abandonment dressed up in good manners. And self-abandonment is not a virtue. It is a habit. And habits can be broken. The thing you are removing is not your warmth. It is not your generosity or your capacity to care. It is the layer of behavior that covers your actual self. The version of you who already knows her time matters, who already knows she doesn't owe anyone an explanation, who already knows that the joke at her expense is not something to smile through. She has always been there. You have just been covering her up. So let's talk about what this looks like when you stop. The first behavior to drop is the big reaction. When someone disrespects you, your instinct is to either absorb it silently or defend yourself loudly. Both responses hand them the power. What works instead is this. You name what happened, calmly, without emotion, and then you go quiet. Not a lecture, not a defense. Just a simple, clean observation. That was disrespectful. That's not okay. I don't appreciate that. And then, nothing. No softening, no qualifier, no anxious fill of the silence. You let the words land. The discomfort that follows is not yours to rescue. Most people expect you to either explode or let it go. When you do neither, when you simply, steadily name the thing, they don't know what to do with you. And in that not knowing, something shifts. The second behavior is being endlessly, instantly available. You know this one. The immediate reply. The yes before you've even thought about it. The I'll be there, I'll do that, of course, no problem. And you know how it feels. Like you are pouring yourself out constantly, and nobody is particularly grateful because they never had to wait for a single drop. Your time feels worthless because you have been acting like it is. Not because you are worthless, because availability without discernment signals that your time costs nothing. Start making people wait. Not as a game, not to punish, but because you have a life that does not stop for everyone. Let me check and I'll get back to you is a complete sentence. So is I'll call you when I'm free. When your time becomes something people have to account for, it becomes something they value. Watch how the quality of their requests changes when they know you might say no. The third behavior is absorbing bad treatment in silence. Every time you stay quiet when someone crosses a line, the coworker who takes credit for your work, the friend who cancels for the third time, the family member whose comments you have been laughing off for years, you are not keeping the peace. You are writing a permission slip, and you are handing it over. Speaking up does not require anger. It requires clarity. This is the third time you've canceled. That doesn't work for me. I did that work. Please credit it correctly. I don't like when you say things like that. Simple, direct, immediate. Said once, without an apology attached. And here is what most people discover when they start doing this. The person either adjusts or they leave. And both outcomes are information. Both outcomes are better than staying quiet and slowly hating yourself for it. The fourth behavior, and the hardest one to release, is proving yourself. Overexplaining. Defending your choices to people who did not ask for a defense. Listing your credentials when someone expresses doubt. The ache underneath this behavior is so understandable. You want to be taken seriously, and so you offer evidence. But watch what evidence does. The more you explain, the more it looks like you need convincing. The more you defend, the more it looks like you are not sure. People who know their worth don't argue for it. They just hold it, quietly, like a fact that requires no debate. I'm confident in this direction. This works for me. I know what I'm doing. Not arrogant, not loud, just settled. And settled is contagious. When you act like your worth is not up for discussion, people stop trying to discuss it. Now, here is why this matters in a way that goes beyond respect. Every time you speak up when you would have stayed silent, every time you let the silence sit instead of rushing to fill it with reassurance, every time you hold your ground without raising your voice, you are doing something that has nothing to do with the other person. You are building a record, evidence that you are someone who does not betray herself to keep the room comfortable. And that record, quiet, invisible to everyone but you, is what self-respect actually is. Not a feeling, not a confidence you perform. A record, a pattern of behavior so consistent that your nervous system begins to believe it, and then your body begins to carry it, and then other people begin to feel it without being able to name why. You are not trying to become someone else. You are trying to stop doing the things that hide who you already are. If something in this landed, if there is a behavior you recognized, a moment from your own life that played in your mind while you were watching, Write the word signal in the comments. Not for someone else, but as a marker for yourself. A note that says, I see what I've been sending, and I'm changing it now. This channel is for women who are done with advice that stays on the surface. If you want to go deeper into the psychology of how you carry yourself and what it costs you, subscribe. Because what we're going into next will shift something you have been carrying quietly for a very long time.